First question I always like to start with, Neal, is so the audience may not know who you are, and I like to ask you if you can tell the audience about your career journey to becoming the CEO of Solid Corp.
I wish I knew who I was. You know, I've been involved in for so long in innovative product development, starting up companies in networking and audio and video. How I came to the health area really just amazes me. We started out Solid several years ago, a long time ago for a startup, to do something entirely different because nobody sets out to discover something that's never been thought of before, right? So we were doing a super high quality, large light field display. And when I had a look at the prototype that my co-founders and I had developed, which was great, by the way, it started to impress me that we could accomplish something for near to eye systems. And we went on to be able to discover some brain functionality based on making use of our optics that no one had ever thought of, which is that we can create stereopsis, the ability to see stereo, from many, many separate in focus images projected to different areas of the retina. And we make use of that for a lot of things. The low hanging fruit is if there's some area of visual field that is occluded because of some health issue. In particular, we tested very rigorously last year for macular degeneration and Stargardt's disease. We can give full field sight with good acuity to those people who suffer from that condition.
Great, great. Thanks for that. As an introduction, you might want to explain to the audience that Solid actually won the HITLAB's Breakthrough Alliance Challenge in 2023 because of your revolutionary way that you give full field sight and good acuity to people with macular degeneration. Can you talk a little about that? Your involvement with HITLAB a little bit and what that meant to you to win that challenge, which was pretty important win, I
It
think.
was tremendous. You guys were extremely helpful, and my thanks continue to go out with you. It helped to put us on the board, helped us get into two other accelerators that we came into after we won that award. Mass Challenge, which gave us a very nice grant, and the H-Tech Collaborative of the AARP, and the AARP wound up investing in us, gave us credibility with a lot of other investors and with the community. And uh, it was just wonderful to get that award. So thank you again.
Fantastic. Let's talk a little about your product. Can you talk a little about the form factor and when we'll have the product available in the market?
Yeah, so we are heavily into production activities now. We don't have the product out to market yet. We actually introduced ourselves to the world at the Consumer Electronics Show in January of this year. We got tremendous press coverage. I'm told by our wonderful PR guy, Henry Feintuck, who is here in New York too, and I highly recommend him to medtech people. We got well over a billion, I think a billion and a half impressions. And that just helped get word out and fill our pipeline with thousands of people who signed up to get the product as soon as they can get it. And so got us on the track. We think we're going to introduce the product to the world, the actual production versions at CES next time, this coming January. We'll probably have some product available earlier than that. You never know exactly because we're manufacturing, and manufacturing, unexpected things can come up. We have contractors and contractors passing through a supply chain to other contractors. But in the meantime, and here's a little bit of news that we haven't talked about, probably in June, certainly this summer, we will have a few test devices tethered to desktop PCs, which will be placed in major ophthalmic research and university locations that seem to be very eager to work with us. We will have 5 of these devices in a few places in the United States and in Europe, and we will be testing. We'll be testing in much more detailed ways than we could last year for macular degeneration, and also testing a number of other health issues. We're pretty sure that we can deal with anything that occludes some portion of the visual field and help people have a much larger visual field with better acuity for, we've tested one or two people each with issues such as optic neuritis, cone rod dystrophy. We've helped people with focal problems and amblyopia caused by MS. We've had many suggestions from neuroscientists and physicians. Can you try this for Parkinson's? Can you try this for people with autopsy? Autism, et cetera. So we want to test a lot of things. And that's likely to be a large ongoing program for us because, I'm an engineer, I'm not a scientist. We need the help from all the scientists and physicians who we can kind of get on our team and be a platform for them and the research that they do.
Yeah, I'd like to ask a question a little more detailed about your answer that you just gave about other areas. On your website, you've shown great results from your earlier trials for correcting vision loss for macular degeneration and Stargardt disease. And on your website, you have mentioned what you just mentioned now, testimonials from people with other types of conditions. Is there any specific condition that you think beyond, the macular degeneration is probably your next closest one that you might focus on? Because you mentioned, three or four other types of eye issues, but is there one that is, probably closer to what you're already working on that might make sense from a clinical trial perspective or just a next step perspective?
I think that we can almost guarantee at this stage that anything that's blocking the central region of people's vision looks like it's a slam dunk. The central region is what we could really focus on in our tests last year. We weren't able to have see what we're building into the product is the ability to map very accurately just really everything that's going on in the eye with AI understanding of the visual information that we are taking in so that we cut out static in the visual understanding of what we see. So when I talk about optic neuritis, there's a woman who testifies on our website about her central cone rod dystrophy. Central area vision loss, I think we feel pretty secure about. Also, I think right from the get-go, people with amblyopia and focal problems, which combine with multiple sclerosis, which I have a lot of experience with living with someone who suffers from that. I think that we're going to be able to do tremendous help, right from the get-go without having any particular software adjustment for the product. And I think we'll see some surprises too in some pretty easy software tweaks that we can do to help some other issues that I don't want to forecast exactly yet. I don't want to promise too much, but from what we've seen so far, that seems pretty apparent that we can help with.
Yeah, your technology is unbelievable, and this is such an important area. Where are you going to be conducting these tests as you move forward?
Well, for sure, here in New York, we've had a wonderful relationship so far with the people at Lighthouse Guild, and I think we have a wonderful budding relationship with the ophthalmology people at New York Eye and Ear. Just tremendous help we've already been given by a number of great physicians. Dr. Richard Rosen at New York Eye and Ear, Dr. William Seipel at Lighthouse Guild, also Dr. Brian Walensky there. And I think that we'll have test locations in California, probably Florida, probably one floating around. And we have a tremendous relationship developing with a group called Street Lab in Paris. And I think that'll be our one outside of the United States location.
And final question, how do people sign up if they feel that they could be a good candidate or a potential candidate for one of your trials? How do they actually sign up for it?
Well, here's another little sneak peek disclosure. We're building out a area of our website where we'll pre-qualify people and get people in line to go into the testing. And of course, the people who will be in line for that are those who've written into us to get our newsletter, right into info@solid.com. And it's been tremendous, the response that we've gotten. So we hope that many of those people will show up for testing.
Fantastic. And Neal, congratulations on all the progress you made. I was a judge at that 2023 Breakthrough Alliance, and I'm just amazed at what you've accomplished so far. And thank you for your time today. I appreciate it very much.